Okay, again, I'd like to welcome everyone this morning. I'm Brad Dixon, and this is Courtney Kirshner with LSU Online. We'd like to thank you for joining us today. We hope that you get a lot of good information that you can take away from this session. We will be answering your questions at the end of this session. We do ask that you use the Q&A button at the bottom to submit your questions. That way they don't get lost in the chat. Okay? Courtney, anything else to add before you start?
No, we're really excited to have all of you guys on here. We've been doing these live webinars for the past couple of weeks, and this is actually our biggest one, so we're really excited to have all you guys on here.
All right, so we'll go ahead and get started here. This is just a quick agenda about what we're going to go through today. We're going to have the welcome, obviously, and some introductions. We'll do a brief overview of LSU Online and an overview of the MSW Online program. We have a couple testimonials. We'll go through the admissions and the application process. And as I said, we do have some time at the end for questions from you guys. Next here, these are the people that you'll be working with most throughout your time in the program, aside from the faculty if you're admitted. We do have a couple of special guests with us today. I will let them introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about what they do, a little bit about their background. We'll start with Denise. Denise, you want to say hi to us, please?
Yes, hi. How is everyone? Good morning. I've been at LSU for 23 years. We've been running this online program for almost 3.5 years. It has grown exponentially, and we've got some fantastic graduates all over the country. So we hope that you ask questions, you get your questions answered today, and that you join us in one of the upcoming modules.
All right, thank you, Denise. So before we get to Frankie, Denise, will you tell us a little bit about what Tara does for the program?
Yes, Tara is our admissions coordinator. She actually handles all of our admission documents for the School of Social Work and coordinates with the graduate school, obtaining any documents that we need for student files. So Tara is someone you will see on the front end, and then once you get admitted, you will deal with my office on the enrollment side with Frankie, myself, and we are hiring someone else that should be on board within the next few months.
All right, thank you, Denise. Frankie, want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name is Frankie Johnson. I am a coordinator in student services. I'm also a graduate of the program. I graduated in May of 2017, and I've been with the program working since last January. So I work with enrolled students with course planning, answering questions, general questions, specific questions. And so I'm really excited to maybe work with some of you guys in the future.
All right, and we'd like to thank both of you for being with us today. We'll move on. This is just words from our program director. This is Dr. Wesley Church. As I said, he's director of the School of Social Work. And as it says there, our world-class faculty teach across 4-degree programs: Child and Family Studies, BSW, MSW, and PhD in Social Work. Through our educational programs, we dedicate ourselves to the instruction, development, and dissemination of evidence-informed knowledge to prepare highly competent, effective, and ethical professionals to serve diverse, vulnerable, and impoverished populations. Our school is aligned with various agencies across the state and region, which strategically position our faculty and students as leaders in the study of advancement of key social conditions affecting the state of Louisiana. Our graduates inform the collective response to today's critical social issues, and that response impacts our work as is reflected in our academic mission, research, field placement, and community outreach. For 80 years, the School of Social Work at Louisiana State University has been at the forefront of social justice in the region. We look forward to moving that tradition into the 21st century. Again, those are some words from the program director, Dr. Wesley Church. Go on here a little bit, talk about a little bit about LSU Online. LSU Online fosters high-quality online learning with a focus on expansion to meet the diverse needs of the students, engagement of the students through their program, and encouragement of online learning scholarship and innovative practices. At this time, we currently have 8 master's programs, 3 graduate certificate programs, and 1 post-bac certificate program. We are currently in the works of adding more programs, including more bachelor programs. I am the learner concierge for the MSW program, so I serve as a primary point of contact for learners in the fully online program. I will say that I do not do any academic advising or person-specific financial aid counseling. I can get you the answers you need or get you in touch with the correct people, but that is not something that I do. Any academic or internship-related questions will need to go through the School of Social Work. And we're going to let Courtney jump on here real quick.
So I just wanted to bring up a couple of things specifically about LSU as a school. So LSU is Louisiana's flagship university. And with that, we are among the elite 1% of all research universities as a land, sea, and space grant institution. So we do have that very strong academic reputation that attracts world-renowned faculty. And in a lot of cases, that world-renowned faculty that teach on campus also teach our online programs. I also get this question a lot as the enrollment concierge from students who are interested in joining LSU Online. The question they'll ask is, when you graduate, what does your diploma read? Does it say LSU Online, or what does it read? It reads that Louisiana State University A&M school. It doesn't anywhere notate that you went through an online program or like World or Global or anything like that. It is through Louisiana State University, and by graduating, you are definitely a part of Tiger Nation, and we are really excited to have you part of Tiger Nation with that. Oh, to talk a little bit about the School of Social Work itself. So the School of Social Work, and I'm sure they're going to talk about this a little bit more when they get into talking about the program, but it is accredited through the Council on Social Work Education, so the CSWE, and it was named number 6 best online program in the nation by bestcolleges.com as well. So we're really excited to have all of you guys on here and to hear more about the program from the people who work most closely with it.
All right, thank you, Courtney. We'll go ahead and move on here. These are just some frequently, I jumped the gun here. This is a little overview of the Masters of Social Work. The MSW online program is an intensive 7-week module format, not your traditional semester format, but that gives students 6 start dates while still completing the program in approximately 2 years of full-time study or 3.5 to 4 years of part-time study. The online program is asynchronous, meaning the coursework is done at your own pace with some guided due dates and deadlines. The cost is $539 per credit hour, and again, as Courtney said, the LSU School of Social Work is accredited by the CSWE and has been offering graduate education since 1937. Now we will do some frequently asked questions. Again, one of the ones we get asked a lot is, what is the cost? It is, as I said, $539 per credit hour. It is a 60 credit hour program, so total you're looking at about $32,000, a little bit more than that. There's also a $50 application fee and a $55 graduation fee, and you will have to pay for the cost of your books. Another question we get asked quite often is, do I have to have a BSW to be accepted in the MSW program? And the answer to that is no. You only need a bachelor's from an accredited college or university, at least 12 credit hours in behavioral sciences, a C or better in an introductory statistics course, 3.0 cumulative GPA on undergraduate or graduate coursework for regular admission. You can be admitted on a probationary status with a minimum of a 2.5 GPA. And no, you do not have to take the GRE. As someone who is studying for the GRE right now, I understand why you would ask that question, but no, you do not have to take that one. We do have a few more on that one. How do I get placed in my field internship location if I'm not in Louisiana? So upon admission into the MSW program, students will submit a field placement planning form along with their MSW program of study. You'll submit agencies, I believe it's 4 or 5 on your field application. Once you submit the agency contact information, the field office staff will follow up with the agencies to evaluate experiences and supervision to ensure that they meet the CSWE guidelines. And you usually start that in your 3rd term. Denise, Frankie, do you guys have anything you want to add to those questions? Okay. And then the last one that we get asked is, are there scholarships available? There are scholarships available for advanced year students. So we'll go ahead and move on here to the curriculum. I will turn this over to Denise and Frankie a little bit. This is what your curriculum will look like, is your courses you will take. You will not, most likely not be taking these courses in this order. This is just the courses you will have to take. Denise, do you want to talk a little bit about these and kind of the electives that they'll have to take as well?
Yes. Good morning. These are the courses that all of our students, both on campus and online, must complete to obtain the MSW. You will not be taking these in order. You will be taking the foundation courses before you are allowed to take the advanced year courses. They are split into 30 hours for each year. Depending on when you come into our program will depend on the courses that you will take. Each of the courses in our rotation, and we're going to show you a slide in just a minute, you'll get to see what a sample curriculum looks like. And every module changes. So we don't offer the same courses every module. We don't offer the same courses in the following module. They do follow a course rotation. Any questions about what you'll be taking? This is basically all of the 60 hours that you'll take throughout our program.
Okay, go ahead and move on to what Denise was talking about there. This is just a sample of what a program of study will look like. We'll come back to these a little bit, but so in this one, these two are both full-time students, so they are taking 2 courses per module or term here. You'll notice a difference here in the foundation internship. Like I said, we'll come back to that one here in a second. But so these are both sample full-time curriculums. This one is a sample part-time. You'll notice that they take 1 class per term here. So it takes a little bit longer. And if we go back, if you do the full-time block placement, you know, if you started January 2018, your last term will be March 2019. If you do the single module, start in January 2018, you'll finish in July 2019. And then obviously the part-time is going to take quite a bit longer. Denise, if you want to add anything, or you want me to go ahead and move over to the block and single?
Yes, most of our students do the single module format. We do have some who do the part-time format, but most of our students are doing the single internship format, and you can see the difference. It's really in the timing that you're in our program, because you are doing your internship at a slower pace. Instead of doing 40 hours per week, you are interning in an agency on 2 consecutive days for about 16, 18 hours a week. And you can see this on this slide. So it's reflected in your program of study based on the internship format you select. If you are working and have a job, the 2-day-a-week format, or those 16 to 18 hours, is what you will probably end up doing. We do have a lot of students who can do the block format. They take leave of absence from work. Some of them are school teachers, so they are able to finagle their internship in the summer when they are off. But most of our students do the 2-day-a-week format. It will take you a little bit longer to graduate, as you can see from those samples that he put up there. But if it is what you need to do for your life and obtaining a degree at the same time, that's the option that we recommend.
Okay. Go ahead. And again, for those single and block format, that is for your field education. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Your field education is a signature pedagogy for social work. The intent is to integrate the theoretical and conceptual contributions of the classroom with the practical world or practice setting. The basic precept of social work education is that the classroom and the field components are equal importance in the curriculum. So the field internship hours are to be completed in an agency setting during normal business hours. I apologize. It'll take 12 semester hours, or 960 clock hours. And then the field courses in each year of the program must be taken consecutively to maximize the learning experience. So we'll go back up here to these samples and show you a little bit here. So in this block format, where you're taking 40 hours a week, you will be able to finish that internship for Foundation 1 in 1 term, and you'll take Foundation 2, as I said, consecutively in the next term. If you're doing a single block, you'll do half of it in 1 term, you'll complete the remaining half of it in the next one, and then you'll start the Foundation Internship 2, you'll do half of that, and then complete the remaining half in the following term. So that's what the difference between the block and single format is. Denise, is there anything you want to add about field education?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Is there anything you would like to add about field education?
Yes, we do have an internship office that handles all of the online placements as well as in-state placements. They will walk you through the process. I can say that in order for you to begin your internship, you have to have completed some prerequisites. And we have that listed on your program of study when you get into the program. So we outline exactly when you can start. You can always start later, but you just need to keep in mind that if you start a little bit later, you're pushing back your advanced year courses and you are pushing back your graduation date. So you can certainly tailor your learning to your life. We have a lot of folks who move around the country and they can't start an internship in one state because they know they're moving to another state. We redo and revise programs of study all the time. So it's very flexible. As long as you are taking the prerequisite courses, the internship office will place you in an agency.
Okay. Frankie, anything you want to add?
The only thing I would like to add is that I know that 960 hours can seem to be a bit much, but when you think about it, you're going to take 480 in your first year and then 480 in that second year. So you're splitting those in half. So when you're completing them, you're going to be in one placement for that first internship for that first year and then one internship placement for the second year. So if you get a variety of experience through that, and it's also good to think about it as just a time for you to learn. And it's a great resume builder for when you graduate. You'll have that on your resume so that you can jump into the workforce right away.
Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and move on now. We'll talk a little bit about the advanced standing. Our program does offer the advanced standing. It's only students with a BSW degree from a CSWE accredited program obtained within 5 years of proposed enrollment at LSU are eligible for this program. It is also contingent upon the student having completed equivalent courses with a B or better, a 3.0 in the courses listed over on the side here, these courses, as part of the undergraduate social work. Denise, Frankie, you guys want to talk about advanced standing a little bit?
Yes, actually just had another question from someone across campus about advanced standing, asking if another student in another discipline could join this. This is strictly something that is offered for students with a BSW from accredited programs within the last 5 years. And these courses that we have listed here, you must have an A or a B in those courses to qualify. This is a very small program that we have. A lot of schools around the country have this program. It takes these students about 1 year to complete our program versus 2 years because they are getting credit. These credits are actually waived into LSU. So they're getting credit for these hours completed on the undergraduate degree or the undergraduate level. So they're with us for a shorter period of time. This year, advanced standing starts in July. And next year it will start in March and October. And that is because of the carousel of the courses. Frankie, do you have anything to add? Frankie was actually a graduate of our program and went through our advanced standing program on campus.
The only thing I would like to add is if you are a BSW student and that you've taken the DSM, which is differential diagnosis, if you take that as a part of your undergraduate career, which most universities either don't offer it or they only offer it as an elective, you are eligible to begin the program given that you meet all the other requirements. You can enter the program in any module. So if you've taken that one additional course, you can start in any of the 6 start dates as an advanced standing student. However, if not, you have to wait for the designated advanced standing start dates because that is the first course you'll take as an advanced standing student. And I took that online even though I was a campus student. So I'm familiar with that format as well. And I know it's very doable. So that's all I have.
Thanks, Frank. We'll go ahead and move on here to the next slide. This is just from one of our graduates at Dawn Duplantis. This is just what she's saying. I'm not going to read this. I'm just going to point out a few things here. First one, obviously, I'm going to point out that she says it is an amazing program that she's very proud to be a part of, that the professors encouraged everyone to interact with one another via discussion boards and emails, so it was pretty much like a classroom. It was challenging to her. It taught her how to teach herself and she became more confident and independent because of this program. She is one of those students who had a job and kept her job as she went through the program. The online program forced her to push herself in ways that she could never been pushed in a classroom. Her experience was nothing less than positive. All the professors gave her the confidence she needed to graduate with honors, and she would definitely suggest LSU Online to anybody. So that is one of our former students, one of our graduates out of the program. We'll go ahead and move on. This is what our faculty is saying about it. This is Brandy Conrad. She's a current faculty member here. There are many great reasons to enroll in the LSU MSW online program. Flexibility is one of the most popular reasons. She goes on to say that, online students allow students to receive their education with minimal disruption to their daily activities. Many of the students complete their coursework while keeping full-time jobs and raising families. Some of her favorite components of the program are the diverse cohorts, the affordability of the program, and her students. And at the bottom here, she says LSU graduates are destined for greatness or great success. So we'll go ahead and move on. So we'll talk a little bit about admission requirements here. As stated before, you do need a bachelor's degree from an accredited college or university. Demonstration of liberal arts undergraduate preparation through the completion of 12 credit hours in the social and behavioral sciences and at least 9 hours in the humanities. You need a C or better in introductory statistics course, and that cannot be taken concurrently while you're in the program. And then, as stated before, you need a 3.0 undergraduate or graduate course or a minimum of 2.5 for probationary admission. I will say that for those social and behavioral sciences, there's things like your psychology, sociology, anthropology, economics, political science, things like that. Your humanities, you'll need some literature, languages, history, and other things like that. And we've talked about this probationary admission a little bit. So what that means is that you're obviously in the program, but you cannot drop below a 3.0 at any time. And you'll be on probationary status until you complete 9 hours at that 3.0 or better. So Denise, Frankie, you guys have anything to add to those?
Yes, you mentioned the 3.0 cumulative GPA. If any of you are transferring from another master's program, another master in social work program, please send us your transcript prior to applying to make sure that the coursework that you are taking there can be applied to our degree. Not all coursework can be applied. Some schools offer different courses than we do, and those are not transferable. And as he mentioned, the 3.0 cumulative, every student or every graduate student at LSU has to maintain a 3.0 to remain in school. If you do not remain with that 3.0, they will drop you from the rosters. So we take a look at your cumulative GPA, we take a look at your last 60 GPA, we look at your graduate work to make sure that you're going to have the grades necessary to come into the LSU. Frankie, do you have anything to add?
I would just like to touch on the statistics prerequisite. That is the only prerequisite to the program really is that you have to have taken that statistics course. Now, it depends on whenever you have graduated, but many disciplines do not require that in undergrad. So if you don't have a statistics course, or if you have a course that you'd like us to consider that maybe you did do some statistics in, you can send that to us, send us the course description, or if you still have the syllabus from it that we can evaluate and check. If you're in the admissions process and you don't have that statistics, your application won't be considered complete until we do have proof that you have completed statistics. We also have a course that we recommend. It's not affiliated with LSU. It's an online course that's self-paced. I believe Brad has the link to that course and I have the link to that course. We have many applicants who have had success with taking that course in a timely manner and being able to come into the module that they originally planned. So if that statistics is something that you don't have, that's something you definitely want to look at completing before you finish that application, because it won't be complete until you do so.
Okay, thank you. We do have a few more admission requirements here. All applicants have to have evidence that the applicant possesses the personal qualities and aptitudes essential for the social work profession and a genuine interest in people and emotional stability. And I will note that meeting the minimum interest requirements does not guarantee admission into the program. So we'll go ahead and move on here. This is probably what I would say would be the most important slide that we have on here today, because it talks about the application process being a two-step process. The School of Social Work has its own step and the graduate school has its own step. So we'll talk about step one, the School of Social Work. They have a supplemental application. You have to do a letter of intent, have to have 3 recommendation forms, your current resume or CV, and transcripts from all universities attended. Now the graduate school has their own application that you have to take care of. the application fee that I previously discussed, the $50. You'll need official transcripts from all universities attended. You do not need to submit a writing sample or recommendations to the graduate school. I will add that applicants with missing application materials by the school social work deadline will not be considered. A completed application is the LSU graduate school application, the fee payment, the social work supplemental application, letter of intent, 3 social work recommendation forms, resume, and transcripts. Denise, Frankie, you want to talk about a little bit what you're looking for with the like the letter of intent and the recommendation forms of what the School of Social Work is looking for in their application process?
Yes, I'll chime in. The supplemental application is basically a bio information. We have to use some of this information to track information for our accrediting body. We also ask you some questions about statistics that the graduate school application does not ask. So it's really an application for us to gather some other information that's not included on that graduate school application. The letter of intent is a personal statement or a program of study, so to speak, about what you're wanting to come to grad school for and why do you think you're going to be a good social worker. We have questions outlined on an application instruction sheet that's on our website. We also have the 3 recommendation forms. These forms have a grid sheet on the back that is a Likert scale. Our faculty want to see those forms. You do not have to submit a letter of support. And we also need a current resume or vita and transcripts from all the schools. We need transcripts to do an evaluation on your grades in our office. You can send your official transcripts to the graduate school because they officially admit you to LSU. We make a recommendation, they officially admit you. So you will see the application fee. That goes directly to the graduate school. I wish that fee came to me in social work, but it does not. So anything official will go to the grad school. And I'm gonna let Frankie chime in because she deals with a good bit of phone calls regarding transcripts and the letter of recommendation.
Okay, so like Denise said, we do not need official transcripts in the department. All we need is unofficial transcripts with your most up-to-date work. Say you're up for the July start date, you don't graduate until May or June. You would simply submit the up-to-date transcript you have that shows that what classes you're enrolled in your last semester of undergrad. And upon graduation, you would want that your university, your undergrad universities, to release those official transcripts to the graduate school. And you can send us an unofficial copy. Sometimes they call it college record. You can usually find that under your student services or registration services on most undergrad university accounts. So you'll definitely need to submit those. The letter of intent is super important because it's the first writing sample that our admissions committee sees from you. Our admissions committee is made up of our faculty and also the director of our program. So you'll definitely want to make sure that you touch on all the parts that are listed in the guidelines that are on our website, and you want to keep it in that 2 to 4 page range. Have someone proofread it for you just to make sure that your grammar is the best that it can be and that you're presenting the best snapshot of yourself to the committee. With the graduate school application, it's pretty straightforward. The only thing on that is a generic application that's tailored for all the grad programs on campus and not just for our department. So you don't need to submit the statement of purpose that's there. You can leave that blank. There's a section there for the GRE. You can also leave that blank because we don't require the GRE again. And then finally, when you are going, the last page there, it's for recommendations. You do not have to put in your recommenders' email addresses there because you're going to send your recommenders the form that's on our website. So in all 3 blanks for all of your recommenders, you're going to want to type in no reply at lsu.edu in order to bypass that step, because we do not want a letter. Our committee doesn't really want a letter from your recommenders. They just want that bubble grid filled out. That's on our website. So remember, when you're there and you're doing that graduate school application, that you type in no reply at lsu.edu in order to bypass that part of the application.
Okay, thank you. And Frankie did mention the website a couple of times, and MSW has a very detailed website with instructions on the application process. So if you are having questions about that, I would suggest looking at that page because it has a lot of information, a lot of good information about the application process. So definitely check that out. So that is what we have today for our program. We'll go ahead and start taking questions. We do have a few already. And please, again, if you do have questions, go to the question and answer section and type them in. Courtney, you want to answer this one? Because this one you have to deal with a lot. What is the registration deadline for first summer session?
So the registration deadline is going to be on March 11th if you want to get started with us in May. We recently just had a change to the academic calendar as well. And so our start date for that, hold on, let me pull my calendar up, and I had it up before because I knew that this question was coming. The start date for May then is going to be on May the 13th, and the application deadline is March 11th. So you will have to have all parts of your application submitted into the School of Social Work as well as into the graduate school in order to be reviewed and considered for that May 13th start date.
Thank you. Frankie and Denise, I'll let you answer this next question. It's a very good question. It says, I'm shopping around for graduate programs with a goal in counseling. Is there a benefit to getting an MSW compared to a master's in counseling? I've been told you can provide counseling with either degree.
Yes, that is correct. You can provide counseling. In some states, in most states, the social worker will get hired before the counselor. Our degree is much more broad in content. We have a biopsychosocial approach. Counseling, I know here on LSU's campus, students go into community counseling or they go into school counseling. About the only place that a counselor in Louisiana and in some states will get hired is an actual school system because of their counseling background with children. Either degree will get you there. The licensure requirements in most states are very similar from start to finish. It's about the same time frame. It really just depends on what you'd like to do once you graduate from a graduate program. Frankie, do you have anything to add?
Regarding an MSW, I think that I can speak to the diversity of getting a master's in social work. For instance, with social work, I have a BSW in social work as well. So I kind of had some experience working with children with that, and then adult mental health after I graduated, and now I work here speaking with students all day in course planning. So there's just with social work, there's more of a variety, whereas counseling can be very limited in what you can do. And an MSW, like our program is an advanced generalist practice degree. So with that, you are getting experience and getting education on various modalities and practice methods. And then, you know, with counseling, it may be a little bit more concentrated. So it's something to think about in terms of marketing and being able to get a job at the end of your time in your program.
Okay. I believe Denise answered this one already on the chat, but I'll go ahead and read it out and read the answer. For the clinical hours, does the school help you find a program to where the hours are paid hours? And Denise answered that one with most internships are not paid. Denise, would you like to elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yes, that is correct. Most of the internships are not paid, as these are educational internships. I know in some disciplines they are paid, but in social work, most of them are not paid. And I'll answer, I see there's another question here too about what is the acceptance rate. Our acceptance rate for admissions is anywhere between 60 and 70% of those who apply get admitted. Typically, those who do not get admitted do not have the grades. We do have a competitive program. As we mentioned, just because you have everything in your file, your grades may be lower, your letter of intent may not be well written. So there are some other reasons why our students do not get accepted. Let me see. I'll just keep going if y'all want me to keep going.
Yeah, that's fine.
What happens if you're not accepted in your initial application? Can you reapply? Yes, you can reapply. We do give you feedback, particularly if it is grade related. If your grades are not high enough, we suggest that you go to a university around your area. you take 9 hours of graduate credit, you maintain at least a 3.33, and you reapply. That shows our office, as well as the graduate school, that you have the ability to perform in grad school. So we do give you feedback, and you can reapply, and we have students do this all the time. Let's see. If you've already submitted an application in January, when should you expect to hear back from admissions? Have you heard, if you have not heard back from Tara Landry about your application, there may be something missing, and you can certainly shoot her an email. If she sent you something saying that your application was complete, it is probably at our admissions committee, and you will hear back as soon as the graduate school processes your application from our recommendation. Let's see. I'm getting that information this week because most of the March applicants have been accepted. So you'll be getting an email from Tara Landry sometimes this week regarding registration. You'll see your program of study. You'll get to select that as well. Acceptance rate, we already touched on that. The March and May start dates. The March start date is passed. So if you have not applied, you cannot start until the May start date, and that is May 13th. It says my internet connection is unstable. Frankie, do you want to answer the question about fields that can be entered in social work?
Yes, I can answer that. What are some fields that can be entered with the MSW? You could work with families and children. You may work in like a DCFS setting or something like that. You could work in private counseling. You could do, as an MSW, it depends. It varies by state on what you can do without a supervision and what you can't. So I would encourage everyone to investigate with their state licensing board for social workers to see what an MSW level social worker can do. But you may work in administration. You could work with addictions if that's your interest, adult mental health, youth mental health. You could work even in policy, affecting policy. You do take classes regarding policy, grief and bereavement. So those are some of the things that you can work with as a social worker. Also, I saw Jenna, I believe, she asked a question about if she submitted for January, when could she expect to hear back from admissions for a May or March start date? If you haven't heard, like Denise said, from our department or from the graduate school, your application is still being processed. Typically, if you apply modules in advance, the graduate school may take a little longer to get those decisions to you. In our department, once your application is complete, it goes to the committee, and the committee has a week to 2 weeks to review those, and then we send our recommendations over to the graduate school. However, the graduate school makes the ultimate decision. Like Denise said, we just make recommendations. So if you were to call and ask us, what's the status of my application, we'll just let you know those decisions have been sent to the graduate school. We will not let you know if you have been admitted or not. Let's see.
Frankie, Denise, we do have one over here on the chat that I'll read out. It says, is the 5-year deadline from when the BSW is obtained advanced standing requirement firm? Can licensures supplement it?
No, it is firm. It's a firm.
No, that deadline is firm.
Yes, it's for our CSWE accreditation standards. That's the same with any advanced standing program in the country.
Frankie, would you?
Here's one. I'm currently taking the statistics course that was recommended by LSU. I think if my application is even looked at before submitting my grade on the course. Your application is not considered complete until we have proof that you have completed that course successfully. So it won't go into the committee until your application is complete.
And I'll just add, if you have a degree in family and consumer sciences, you have all of those humanities and behavioral science courses. That is pretty standard across the country. So you have all those that coursework already complete.
Once submitted, about how long does the notification of acceptance or rejection take? Like I said before, once we make the decision in the department, our decisions go over to the graduate school. When someone is denied, we do tend to let them know ahead of time because we want you guys to be able to make arrangements if you want to try to improve your application to reapply at a later date, or if you want to make other arrangements. So we do try to let our applicants know if they have been denied admission. So those may come before acceptances for everyone else.
Frankie, another one that came up, it says, I completed my graduate school application December 3rd. I'm not sure if I have completed the School of Social Work application. My recommendation letters and letter of intent have been submitted. However, it was through the graduate school. Do I need to request these again?
You say your letter of intent and
recommendation letters have been submitted through the grad school.
Okay, so all of those forms should have been submitted to sw@lsu.edu, and all that's on the supplemental documentation. So once you submit that supplemental application, you should receive an email from Tara Landry in our department. Her email is tmontel@lsu.edu. And after you have that, we have that supplemental application, she lets you know every time that our department has received something and it's been processed for you in your application. So if you can, I would suggest that you either email Tara Landry at tmontel@lsu.edu, because she should be able to retrieve those documents from our database, so you won't have to resubmit them, but if not, she will let you know. So and those unofficial transcripts, you will want to submit those to sw@lsu.edu, and that's also where your recommenders will submit their the recommendation form on your behalf.
Okay. Another one we have is, if I'm applying for the advanced standing and need to take the DSM course in July, when is the application deadline for this start date?
The July 1st start date, the deadline is May 6th.
May 13th.
Oh, May
Yeah,
13th.
13th.
That new calendar.
Yes.
Again, how soon after an application is submitted should we expect a response regarding whether we're accepted or not? As Frankie said, it takes about a week and a half to 2 weeks for them, and then it goes over to the graduate school. So usually takes another week and a half to 2 weeks from them. So usually within that time frame, you should hear. Next question is, hello, I've been a bachelor level social worker for 15 years. My final GPA when I graduated was a 2.5 or a little under. Should I take a class at another scholarship to increase my GPA?
Yes. We cannot use work experience as part of the application process, and that is an accrediting standard. So you will need to take graduate level work at another university and then apply to our program if your GPA is under a 2.5.
Okay. The next one, what are the programs of study offered in the MSW?
So we kind of went over the programs of study earlier in our conversation. Each person's program of study is tailored to them. So you may start your module with let's say 60 other people, but you each may be following a different program of study. Some of you may need to take one course in one module and then take 2 courses in the next module. Our office tends to work with students who need certain things customized for them so that we all are on the same page. So everybody's program of study can be different. The only things that are kind of set in stone are those formats for internship, where there's the 2-module internship with 40 hours, or the 16 to 18 hour per week internship over the 4 modules. 2 modules at 40 hours a week, or 4 modules at 16 to 18 hours per week. So those are your only 2 options for field, but everything else can kind of be customized. It's just that you keep in mind that some things, if you decide to not to take a class in a certain module, it may delay you quite a bit.
Are the recommendation forms sent to the recommenders from the program?
No, you would find those documents on our website. They're pretty easy to find under how to apply. And then you have to sign that to waive your right to view the recommendation form. And then you'll submit that to your recommender. Some people email that or scan that to the recommender, and your recommender from there would submit that to sw@lsu.edu on your behalf.
Okay. How early can I apply if I graduate this fall?
You can apply as early as the fall semester. If you're going to be in a summer school program, we ask that you wait until you get grades from summer school, because that would be the last grades that you have that is most reflective of your GPA. You will then have to resubmit your graduation, or once you graduate, an official copy of your transcript. But you can apply, if you're wanting to apply for the January module, you can apply as early as any time in the fall semester. And I'll keep going now that my voice is coming back. Upon completing the program, will the institution or individual be responsible for submitting information to the state board? We do not submit anything to state boards. That is your responsibility. All these states have different licensing requirements. Some require a lot of paperwork, some do not. So you would need to check with your state board to find out what information you need. They all will request an official transcript from LSU, and you will simply request that through your student portal. Do you offer financial aid for the summer sessions as well as regular sessions? Brad, do you want to answer that?
Yes, we do offer financial aid for the summer sessions as well as regular sessions. The only session we are not available to offer financial aid for is the second spring term. So as long as you're not one of the students who've been accepted in the program, then the financial aid should be working just fine by the first summer session. Denise, we do have a question over here on the chat. I submitted an application waiver for hardship, but I am also a veteran. Which waiver should I use?
I can kind of answer that one. It's whichever one is easiest for you to fill out. You have to submit documents for each one, for the hardship waiver and also for the waiver for veterans. So it's whichever one works easiest for you. You can submit for either one of those waivers. And then in addition to that question, the same person asked, can you do your internship internationally?
No, you cannot do your internship internationally unless it is at a military base, and our internship office has vetted that out. We do not have international placements because in your agency, you have to have a master level social worker or a licensed social worker on staff. And some of the international agencies do not have that. However, we did have someone do an internship at a military base in Italy. So it is possible. It just will depend on where the placement may be in the military, or which country and what the base looks like and what sort of services they have.
Okay. Is there a start date after July? If so, what is it, and what is the deadline for application? You have your calendar out.
I do. So these dates just changed, so I wrote these out. So if you want to get started with us in first fall, the start date is September 1st, and the application deadline is July 8th. And then if you want to get started with us for second fall, the start date is October 28th with the application deadline of September 1st.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll just add, there are 6 start dates. So they start in January, March, May, July, September, and October. So depending on how your life is going, you can start the program at any point in any of those modules. We know that most people want to get started pretty quickly, but we do admit 6 times per year.
Okay. Is there a student organization for the MSW program for networking and getting to know other students?
Yes, we have a student organization that we have on campus and online. And I can honestly tell you, you will meet folks in your cohort that start at the same time as you do. There is a Facebook page that our students organize. There's also some online chat sessions, Google Hangouts that our students hang out in. And in your courses, you're going to be randomly assigned in groups to do assignments. And you will be meeting people from all around the country. Some will be in Louisiana, some will be on the West Coast and the East Coast. So you will meet folks online, even though you're not here on campus.
Okay, thank you. Do you all have a list of volunteer opportunities to get experience in social work to better understand if it is a good fit?
We do not, as we don't have a list of volunteer opportunities for around the country, but I can tell you any sort of crisis intervention center, any sort of rape crisis phone line that has a training program are really good opportunities to see if you're going to be a fit with social work, because you will deal with lots of different populations and lots of different scenarios. Any type of VOA as well are great opportunities. And those are just a few that we recommend to our students here in the Baton Rouge area. And you have agencies all over the country that you can do volunteer work in some of those similar agencies as well. Is there a limit of the students who are accepted for each module? There is not at this point in time. If my recommender has submitted the required form without my signature and I'm able to sign it later, no. Once it is submitted, it is submitted. And if you do not sign the form, we assume that you are waiving access, and you cannot sign that after. And I'm going to turn my mic off because I am under the weather with fever, and grab some water. Frankie, do you want to take the other questions?
Sure. I think, let's see. Brad, can you read me the next question? I'm kind of.
Yeah, I'll read through. Because I'm 65 years old, will be 66 on March 2nd. I was told that at 65, I would be exempt from paying tuition. Is this correct? I have also received information that I'm eligible to receive a grant, but usually I'm sent to one of the online schools such as Walden and the like. I would like to have a degree from LSU. I know I'm too late for the March session, so I'd be applying for the May session.
I'm not aware of that.
So I know about the tuition exemption of what this question is asking, and they consider through LSU, they consider online to be a specialty. And so unfortunately that tuition exemption for 65 and older is not able to be used for online, but it absolutely can be used for on campus.
Okay. And the next question we have is regarding letters of recommendation. I saw that at least one should be from a supervisor of a paid or volunteer experience, and if not, we need to explain why. I have 3 professors that I have already asked for recommendations for other schools. Would it impact my application negatively to have only academic recommendations?
Well, typically we have the opposite, where we don't have any instructor recommendations, and we have all professional. So this is an interesting question, but I will say that I do think that you need to have that one professional reference. That's because that's going to speak more to your work ethic as a professional in the field. This could be anything. If you worked, we have some people who are coming from our program and they may not have very much work experience. Maybe you worked a fast food job. Anybody who has been that supervisor for you or acted as a supervisor for you, you do need to have as a recommender, just one professional reference and 2 academic. I would strongly advise you to do to follow those directions and have the one professional.
Okay. Would we be able to push the application date back on the graduate application if we need to take a graduate course to improve the current GPA?
Yes, you'll be able to push that date, that graduate application back. If you've already applied, notify the graduate school and let them know that you want to push that back, because they will be looking for an application or a recommendation from our department. So you just need to let them know what you're doing and they can push that back for you. There was another question about starting the program in May. When would you graduate? Typically in 2 years. This program online is very similar to our program on campus in terms of time frame. Sometimes you can complete it a month or 2 before. Most of the time it's either right on target or right after, and that's simply because of the course carousel that you follow. But it is about a 2-year program. So if you start in May 2019, you'll graduate in about May of 2021.
I just read one. If you have been working for somewhere like DCFS for over a year, could any of those hours count toward field hours? We're not able to use any of your current hours worked for your field hours. We do have instances where the place that you work may qualify for a work site placement somewhere, like DCFS would probably be appropriate for that. If you go to our website and find the Office of Field Education, you'll find a list that lays out the criteria for a work site placement and what that might look like. If your agency meets those requirements, it's possible that one of your internships may be able to be done at your place of employment. The one thing for sure that you would need is a supervisor who is an LCSW or whatever that the highest level of clinical social work licensure is in your state. So, and if you have any questions about that, I would definitely recommend reaching out to our Office of Field Education. Their information is also on our website. So they would be able to tell you for sure for your specific situation if that would count.
We did kind of talk about it a little bit, but there's a question, not sure if it's been previously asked. Are there any scholarships grants available?
There are not any scholarships available in social work until you are entering your advanced year of our program. We do not have scholarships for a lot of our campus students. We don't have any for our online students as well. And most of our students either pay out of pocket for tuition or they get federal loans. And I see there's a question about our concentration level, our concentration year, I'm sorry. Our concentration year is the second year of our program, and all the schools of social work around the country have a concentration in the advanced year. Some have 2, some have 3, and some have sub-specializations. We at LSU have had 1 for quite a number of years, and that is because before we went online, our state is pretty diverse. We have a lot of rural areas. We have a lot of cities. So we need to make sure that our students, once they leave our campus, can work in rural areas or in big cities, and you will be doing various things in these agencies. So now that we are nationwide, we have to make sure that our graduates can do a little bit of everything in any agency they walk into and not have such a specialization. So we have advanced direct practice, which you will get skills in working with groups, with individuals, with communities. You'll get experience working with children, adolescents, adults, and the elderly. So you're going to get a little bit of experience because we do not know where you're going to end up working and where you actually live. You may end up working at a hospital on the burn unit, and that is all you're going to do. Or you may work in a community center and run groups. You might write grants. You may do some one-on-one therapy. So we need to make sure that our graduates can do that, and that is why we have our advanced direct practice concentration.
Okay, about to run
the calendar on the website, I don't think the calendars are out yet because it's not official. Is that correct?
Ooh, they just posted it last week. So yes, it is official, and it is on the registrar's website.
They haven't updated it everywhere, but on the registrar's website, you can get the new calendar. And I believe we answered those questions kind of. Advanced practice for mental health specializations, any specific, the program geared to any specific. Both of the next 2 questions kind of asked that one. We've kind of already answered that one. It's more of a broad program, if I'm not mistaken, Denise and Frankie, please jump in. But it's more of a broad program, not geared towards any, so you'll get experience in all of the areas.
Right, and with online, we don't offer any specializations. We do have 2 for our on-campus program, one with child and youth services and one with gerontology. So we have those for campus, but they're a little bit more involved as far as some trainings you have to attend and things. So we do not have those for our online program at this time because you're not required to come to campus at all as an online, unless you want to come to graduation, which we would love to have you.
Okay,
also, I see the office located on LSU's campus. We are located in the Huey P. Long Fieldhouse. We're kind of on the outskirts of campus. I will tell you, once you come on campus, your GPS does not work properly, so please don't put it in there. It'll take you a roundabout way to get to us, but we're not far from Mike the Tiger's cage. And if you don't know, we have a tiger. So And if you want to make an appointment, you can contact me. We can speak further over the phone, or if you would like to come in and just see the building. We're one of the oldest things on campus. It's not very impressive, but if you want to, you're more than welcome. My email is F as in Frankie, John26@lsu.edu.
We'll try to get through these last couple questions real quick. If you've already submitted your transcripts, do you have to do it again? As long as all the information is the same, you should not. If you've taken more classes, then you will have to submit those new transcripts. And we have one. Just so I'm clear, I can submit my transcripts along with my application for review before I submit all other required documents. Frank, you want to take that one?
No, if you don't have the supplemental application, letter of intent, transcripts, resume, and those forms, your application is not considered complete. And your application will not be sent to the committee until it is complete.
Okay, I believe that is all of our questions. We want to thank everyone for joining us today, and we hope you have got a lot of information out of this, and you can contact Frankie or myself or Courtney here with any information. Please contact us and let us know what questions you have. Thank you for joining us again.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.